Hello everyone. Um, this is Amit from Tallyfy, and I wanted to show you how we actually go through our SOC 2 Type 2, and we're currently doing it right now. And I just got off a phone call, an online screen sharing call with our audit firm, and she asked for a bunch of additional evidence items based on a sample. So I thought I would make this video to show you how using our approach of Google Drive and so on, and using Claude primarily, how we run everything using Claude and Google Drive without a GRC platform. So just to remind you, this is not using any kind of SOC 2 software of any kind. It's mostly the brain of all this is Claude. So on my screen here, I've got my Google Drive share, and this is the actual automatically exported share which Claude has arranged that dumps onto Google Drive, and the auditor is invited to this share so they can actually see everything. They can see all evidence items neatly organized. And all I did is upload these to Claude, and Claude actually renamed them, checked them. So it actually checked every single evidence item, including whether it has a date and everything is correct and it shows what it should show, etc. It also has a mapping matrix, which Claude has automatically created as well with an index of everything that's there. Third-party reports, pen tests. Now, policies have actually been pushed out from Markdown files. So Claude has automatically, taken our Word docs and transferred them into Markdown, and it also adds the revision dates and any updates automatically, so we don't have to do that. And then inside the audit documents, which we give to the auditor, there is a navigation guide. So it tells the auditor um, exactly how the structure of the drive actually works, and any other information about our SOC 2. Our control matrix provides a complete coverage map of every control name and the criterion which it covers. The evidence mapping maps every evidence item or control, to an evidence item, including the TSC criteria. Again, all of this is automatically done by Claude. The risk register is just a risk register. So there's that. So this is how it's actually been exported. Now, on the phone call today, the auditor asked me for three specific things. She said that she wants to see a screenshot or a dump of three specific issues in our GitHub. And she picked these random samples from our repos. So the ones that she picked were uh, this one, and this one. So what I did, I used the Go Full Page Chrome plugin to actually grab a screenshot of the entire thing, which contains everything like dates and times and people and the whole software development lifecycle and whatever else. And on this plugin Go Full Page, I can export as a PDF or as a PNG. So I can export the whole page, no matter how long it is, in any way I like. So that's what I've actually done. I've actually exported these and they're ready to go. So I fired up a Claude session, and all I did is I pasted in the transcript from the call I just had with Alvita, who's our auditor. So again, I didn't really take any actions. I just took the transcript of the call. Now, most of you know that when you record a call, you get a call transcript, and that's what I actually provided to Claude, along with the fact that it's in the repo which we have built for this. Okay, so now Claude is coming up with a bunch of questions in plan mode. This is very important. We always start Claude code in plan mode, and it asks us a bunch of questions about the work that it needs to do based on the call that we just had. So now it's asking, okay, where on Google Drive should I put these sample screenshots? And it actually knows from the transcript what the auditor has asked for. It also knows how they map to specific controls and so on, I think. So I would normally take Claude's recommended approach. So the user can decide whatever the answer is, but I always, this sounds sensible to me, so I'll go with that. This is just draft a note in our CRM because it just keeps an audit trail. And here is, shall I save the transcript of today's call in the repo? Why not, right? You might as well, just to see a record of communications with your CPA firm. So we can do that. In terms of rollback, we didn't have a rollback in these three particular samples, so it's going to auto-generate like an attestation, even with my signature, if it needs to be, saying that we actually didn't need to do a rollback. And so those are my questions answered from the Claude perspective. Now here comes the fun part. You're probably wondering, how do I manually get these files over into our repo, our compliance repo, so that the compliance repo and Claude can ingest these files, um, rename them, organize them, index them, and so on, and then also export the whole thing to Google Drive, along with a note, a ready-made note to the auditor saying, "Thank you for your call. This is what we've done, like A, B, C, and D, and it's all ready for you to look at." That's actually what I'm going to show you for the rest of this call right now. So it might take some time. So you'd have to be patient watching this Claude screen because it's currently in plan mode. Now, just as a reminder, plan mode does not actually execute. It just collects all the information and it clarifies the plan. So it's looking at the call, it's looking at what it needs to do, it's asking you questions, you are answering those questions, it's going back, it's thinking again and saying, okay, great, what do I need next from you? Um, and uh, and what I'm going to say to it now is collect everything you need and make sure you export to Google Drive as well at the end. Now I don't have to say this, it already knows that it needs to do this because I put it into the Claude.md in the repo, so it knows what it needs to do. I've actually built a skill that knows how to collect evidence for SOC 2. So it's going to do that. And then also don't forget to draft a complete email to Alvira at the end, um, Alvita at the end, sorry, um, with the chain with where the files are in in the Google Drive export. So what Claude has done is actually built a script which takes a subset of my entire repo for the current year and it exports it to the Google Drive share. So just while it thinks, I can actually show you that Claude saves current evidence. So current is just basically this year's audit cycle. Archive is from the past. So current is the one that's the latest one for any specific piece of evidence. So when you go here, this is the actual evidence. It's actually also been renamed correctly with the date and the name and what it is and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't have to do any of this. Claude actually did this for me. So it's also indexed everything correctly by number, so we can refer to each item in an organized way. Now, the auditor can either do calls with me, like she just did, or she can actually write to me by email saying I would like these things, or she can actually go to any specific file, like let's say this file, and even just comment on it, because on Google Drive you have commenting as well. So any one of those communication mechanisms are perfectly fine, and it's all done. So this is all the auditor needs essentially. Um, Coupled with this, you just add the call transcripts and then you process them through Claude, and it actually guides you through um, what you need to do next. So it literally spoon feeds you and says, "Give me this export, give me this screenshot, give me this file," and you drag the file. So I want to show you how I drag it. You literally drag the file into Claude like this. It grabs the file, indexes the file, organizes it, and ultimately it even exports it. Now, plan mode can take some time because it's really thinking about every possible angle. Now we have a plan. This is the plan. So we had a call. This is what it needs to do. The plan looks good. You hit the button, um, and then it executes the plan. So while it executes the plan, we can just uh, go back and await what's going to happen here at the end. And I guess you don't. I can just show you one specific example once it asks me for a file, but um, yeah. So let me just ask it. Do you need the file uploads from me one by one? It's going to come up with it anyway. It's going to ask me in a minute, so I don't need to rush it. But that's what it's going to do. So just to wrap up this video, I don't want you to wait and watch this entire thing. It's kind of boring. So um, maybe in a minute it might ask me for a screenshot, so I can show you that. Um, and that's really the gist of it. I also wanted to add in this video that our penetration tests are also open source and they're done in-house. So something like this, for example, I think this is our own internal penetration test. So we didn't have to actually pay an external third party for this. So now comes the really fun part where I can end my video after this because this is all I wanted to show you, how I use Claude to go one at a time following a call with my SOC 2 audit firm. So so now what it's saying is I need you to upload your file or your screenshot for 8642, which I actually have ready. So 86, let me see if I can grab it here. I think it's 8642. Let me see if I can grab this pull request here. I believe this pull request was actually exported already. 8642. Okay, let me just go and grab it one more time because um, maybe it was incorrectly saved last time. Let me go ahead and do that. Actually, I've already grabbed it. It's on my desktop. So let me just drag it across. So great. All I've done is I've grabbed the file and I've just dumped it onto Claude. I'm like, I literally was like, here's the file. I don't have to organize the file. I just have to dump it. What Claude's going to do is say thanks. It's going to check. Oh, it says the file name says S634, but we're on this. Could be a typo. This is possibly correct. So let's just see what it thinks. It's going to actually visually look at the AI, look at the file, and visually scan the file like a human would to see if it's the correct file. And so if it's incorrect, this is a good example of Claude refusing to grab the evidence because it's saying that it may not be correct. However, it did look visually and it saw that the file name was incorrect. However, the actual content of the file was correct. So it actually went ahead and intelligently renamed the file. Um, and it's also just slightly altering our naming convention for things like this automatically. I don't have to deal with any of the conventions. They're already preset within the repo. Great. So now it's uploaded the actual evidence item. There's the checkbox. It's uploaded it. It's renamed it. It's also dumped it on the drive. It's persisted it. It's logged the audit trail. It's visually checked it to verify that it was what the auditor actually wanted. Um, it's also updated the index file, the master index file. And now the next thing it's asking for is probably the next file. So I just have to drop my next file in here like this. So as you can see, I'm just uploading every single piece of evidence or sample that my SOC 2 auditor has asked for, and it's actually processing and checking each one, renaming it, doing the whole works. I don't have to actually do anything. So this is a concrete demonstration of how this actually works. Great. So I hope it's been helpful. The rest of it is kind of boring. It's just a case of literally just dragging files into Claude. And the wonderful thing about this is that I can't screw up because it's literally asking me, it knows what I've given it. It also knows whether what I've given, like what is left, what I actually need to, what needs to be collected. It's auto indexing, auto organizing, auto renaming, and also auto uploading into Google Drive. So when you actually when you actually use such a system, like I feel like it's essentially magic at this point. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps someone to see how incredible this is, because this is usually just an administrative pain. Now, if you had to get this information from someone else, that would be even worse. And we actually use a task management system for that. And so Claude can auto create a task to ask another person with full instructions for any specific piece of information of any kind, whether it's an upload or a setting or whatever it is. And it keeps checking that. Every time I run Claude, it checks for the state of completed tasks from other people. And so the whole thing is orchestrated in the center by Claude, and everything is auto organized and ready to go on on the drive, including the final email that just thanks the auditor for the call and just says, okay, here's my actions, here is where I've uploaded the various files, etc. Great. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much.